Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the United Rugby Championship. This one's quite an intriguing one. The Glasgow Warriors, they are currently on, I believe, a 10-match winning streak at home. The Stormers on a 5-match winning streak, but they lost their last away game. So there's a little bit on the line for these two sides. We've already seen a couple South African sides defeated this weekend in the URC. The Stormers certainly do not want it to be added, or do not want to be added into that category, I should say. Looking through at the way that the table sits currently, Leinster still perfect at the top. They had a tough battle, though, just yesterday. Managed to still get themselves over the line for the victory. They sit at the top on 56 points. The Stormers in second on 44. Bulls in third. Ulster in fourth after losing to Benetton, who are in fifth, which I think is a little bit of a surprise for a lot of people, seeing them as high as they currently are. At the moment, Glasgow, they're in ninth with a win here over the Stormers. They actually have the potential of going right up to fifth place, depending on how the result does go and the scoreline in this matchup. But nonetheless, looking through at the starting lineup for Glasgow will be Bate, Turner, and also Sardoni as the front row. Bean and Duprea will be the locking duo, and then Matt Fagerson slots in at 6, Vailanu at number 7, and then it is Jack Dempsey slotting in as number 8. Horn will be number 9 with Jordan at 10, Hugh Jones and Sione Tuipulotu as the midfield combination. Cole staying out on one wing, and it is, now I'm going to butcher this name, Cancellieri at number 14, and then Smith slots in as the fullback. Looking through at the Stormers starting lineup for this contest, it will be Stephen Kitsoff, Joseph Weber, and Nettling Fouché as the front row. Dixon and Ori as the locks, then Dion Fori at 6, Willie Engelbrecht at number 7, and Diamani slots in as the big dangerous number 8. Paul David at 9, Marnie Lebok at 10, Damien Willemser, rather than being at fullback or fly half today, he finds himself at inside centre with Dan du Plessis on his outside, Lillian Zas, Hudson Berg, and Clayton Blomakis as the back three for this contest. So all very dangerous players in their own right, and they should be quite handy throughout this game. Looking through at the benches, a big bit of experience there for Glasgow with Ali Price. Will be able to come off the bench later on in this contest. And then for the Stormers, if we had to pick one player who could be extremely dangerous, probably go with Junior Pokomela. That extra bit of physicality that he will bring for the Stormers late on in this game. Will certainly be excited for this opportunity. Go out there and make a real impact. I hope you guys are all doing well. We are currently sitting 4 a.m. here in New Zealand, so only about 2 minutes away from the kickoff. I think a few of these Stormers players in the starting lineup certainly want to make a big impact here. You've got Kitsoff, Weber, and Fouché, and actually Joseph Weber, his line-out throws have come a long way in just the last maybe couple months or so. He has been able to really start to put it together. That back three, those where it's dangerous, is us, Hudson-Berg, and Clayton Blomakis. But then for the Glasgow Warriors, you'd have to say that their midfield's looking pretty dangerous as well. Sione Tuipulotu on the outside. We've seen a bit of him in the Southern Hemisphere every once in a while. At the moment now, the Stormers away from home, like I mentioned, they lost their last away game, but they've been on a 5-match winning streak, which I think the more impressive side of that is the fact that they've had 5 home games in a row. That's probably quite tricky to do, I would think. Also, we have got there, Let's Go Stormers, says Darius, and also how's the Amish brother, says Bertie B. I'm doing not too bad. I'll be honest, the eyelids are a little bit heavy at the moment with the lack of sleep that we may have had in Glasgow by 7, says Bertie V there, so saying that the home side will be able to get the job done. It's 37 degrees in Cape Town and 7 in Glasgow right now. Do you think it's easy for the South African teams overseas? It's like playing in Alaska, says Roloff. But would you say that it's the same when those Northern Hemisphere sides go to South Africa, playing in those different conditions? All about adaptation. And I feel like the South Africans, they know that more than anything, that these are the games that help you get home finals. You've got to win on the road. We've seen it already happen so far this weekend. The Bulls able to get themselves the victory. Now, can the Stormers finish it off and get themselves a victory as well? And good win for the Bulls, says Birdie V. And then, yeah, we did see the Lions defeated by Munster. We did see the Sharks defeated by Connacht. Only Tuipulotu looks like he has a ball of muscle, as always. Ready to go for the Glasgow boys, who are going to be wearing the black for today, which I believe means the Stormers will be able to keep their home kit colours of that kind of nice bright blue they would normally be wearing. They're calling it Family Day at the moment. For this one, what we will quickly do is we'll go like this, and we will move the screen so that we can see it like that and like this. There we go. We are all set up and ready to go for the start of this match. Stormers will win this match easy. Glasgow is weak, no offense this year. Or this year, no offense, sorry, says Darius. And also Benetton, good win overall. So here, massive win for Benetton. Be able to get themselves a victory to push them a little bit further up the table. They started the year extremely well compared to last year, and they've continued going that way. Protea's got a draw. They sure did. We did cover the whole of day 5 on the channel, and it didn't really look like anything but a draw when we went into that last session. Both sides had a little bit of fun. We saw Marnus Labuschagne having a bowl near the end of the day, which was quite exciting. Irvia getting close to his half century in that match as well. This best score of the test series for the Proteas. They're showing there Clayton Blumekes. Of course, an extremely dangerous player when he does have space, which is why Glasgow, they may have to adjust their tactics a little bit. Can't afford to kick that ball in behind and allow the strong Stormers back 3 into the contest. Glasgow about to kick this one off. It will be the youngster, Tom Jordan, to get us underway. Like they've said, maybe saving the best for last for this matchup. But the Glasgow Warriors kicking off from right to left, and the URC final match is underway. Get back downfield by the Stormers, and does end up kicking it into touch. So a little bit of a territory battle, but 45 metres out, the Glasgow Warriors now going to have themselves a line out. And also, we look at that. How you brother? Says Beauty V. I'm doing not too badly. Slightly, unfortunately, one of my hard drives has just kind of completely given up. So I think I'm going to have to send it overseas to get it repaired. But at the moment, last 2 years of Kiwi Lads footage has all been corrupted. So we don't have any of it, which is a bit of a shame. But at least we've got the channel still up and running, I guess. Be able to look at it. Now it's going to be going back across to the right-hand side here. Nice backline movement straight away here from the Glasgow Warriors, sitting 40 metres out from the line. Hi, Hamish, how's it going? You one of your viewers know about the Benetton story? I've been trying to find out for some time now, says John Mills. And hey, guys, smash that like button. And if you are new, subscribe to the channel. And oh, unlucky brother, says Beauty V. Yeah, it's slightly unfortunate. We had a lot of videos on there that we haven't edited yet. So I guess it's just more a case of I should have edited them sooner. That's a bit of a me own fault type thing. Currently, Glasgow Warriors, they've had a majority of the possession throughout the early stages of this fixture. Vailanu with a nice carry forward. Sione Vailanu sharing the name with one of the centres of the Glasgow Warriors. Now back across to the right-hand side. Another big run forward. This is JP Duprea. Has a fair bit of experience playing up against South African opposition. There's JP Duprea now back across to the left again for Glasgow. They're up to about 7 phases at the moment. And Duplessis makes a nice tackle, but Sione Vailanu is not quite able to hang on to that one when he tried to go for the pick and go. And now it's going to be the scrum feed for the Stormers. And he is a large individual to have it at number 7. Vailanu, he thought about going around the side, just didn't quite have his hands on the ball, though, by the time he tried to pick it up and go around the side. Like they've said, good intensity early on from Glasgow, which they know they have to have throughout the full 80 minutes of this contest, because as soon as you start to drop that intensity, that's when the Stormers can be their most dangerous, when they're throwing their forwards at you, making it a very difficult day indeed. I feel like I've got to go this way a little bit. There we go. A little bit better. Joseph Dweber just having a conversation with the opposition hooker, George Turner. They're trying to work out where the middle ground is. I feel you, my PC packed up was a nightmare, says Birdie V. But the worst thing is, it hasn't just fried one hard drive, it's fried 2. So you'd think from the first one, the PC would have sorted itself out, but it hasn't. So it's a dangerous game with this PC. But yeah, I'm going to have to send a whole heap overseas. I think you got to send them to somewhere in the UK. It'll take about 3 months before we get those back. So the Kiwi Lads podcast that we recorded over Christmas, that's now fried and no longer accessible. We've got a really rough bit of audio. That's about all. And now Kit's off with a nice carry forward. Once again, 50 metres out, Paul de Vet. Nice short pass across and power supply, for the PS, I see. Oh, drop by Diamani. Another handling error, double knock on. Now it's going to be another scrum feed. This time it's in favour of the Glasgow Warriors. Like they've said, similar start for both sides. Both And some good carries. It's a big run from Willie Engelbrecht. I don't know why George Horn thought that he was going to be able to drive the big man from South Africa backwards there. But I think he learnt pretty quick while he was lying on his back that that wasn't quite going to be the best tactic. 4 minutes already gone in this match. We've already had 2 scrums, including this one. Might be quite a large number that we see for this matchup today. It's Glasgow this evening for mine, Amish. Any general thoughts? Joe Marler comments. I should have said that to Eben Etzebev, says roll off. I haven't heard exactly what he said. I know that someone mentioned it was something about someone's mother, and then he got banned for 2 games, but I haven't really read into it at this point. I'm sure he'll mention it on his podcast, though. All right, quick reset. That is one thing that throughout 2023, the referees are heavily working on, is trying to get scrums done as quickly as possible. Connacht could win over the Sharks. There's BDV, yeah, 12-point win for the boys wearing green. Currently, the South African side's heading north. We've only seen the Bulls get themselves the victory. Other than that, the Lions, they were defeated by Munster. Ulster, they lost to Benetton, which was a massive upset earlier on, and Glasgow looked good in the 1872 Cup against Edinburgh. Hopefully, they can hold out against the Stormers. Have looked good in general, says Sebastian. That looks like there's a foot in touch. And Cansieri just kind of shoved around a little bit while he's on the touchline. With a name like Cansieri, it doesn't really sound Scottish, does it? Unless I've pronounced it slightly wrong. Now, it's going to be the line out for the Stormers. Could be a game of set pieces here by the looks of it. Already seen 2 scrums, 1 line out now. This will be the first one of the day. Joseph De Weber doesn't go straight, it sure does. And now the Stormers attacking opportunity. Damien Valimza straight through the middle. The inside centre for this game. Beautiful offload of Dan Duplessis, his centre counterpart. And now the Stormers move up to only 30 metres out from the line. All the vet now goes across the Mani Labok. Looks for the cross kick. Waiting for this one to set up. It was the number 14, Hudsenberg, driven into touch there. No option for Kyle Steyn other than pretty much just run that ball out. And now the Stormers have got themselves in a very good position on the field. It was a brilliant cross kick from Mani Labok, but first thing that started that run was definitely that beautiful inside ball to Damien Valimza. And hey, Hamish says, not everyday cultures. Welcome in, mate. And lots of itties in Glasgow, Hamish, I think. And welcome, Hamish. You're once again back. Have you got sleep? Not yet. So the plan at the moment is to do this live stream. We'll go to sleep at about 6, and then I start work at around 10 or 11. And then working for the full day. So sleep might be a little bit slim for tonight, but that's not the worst thing that's happened this evening. One of my hard drives, the other one that was working, has corrupted. I've lost all Kiwi Lads footage from the past 2 and a bit years until I can get that back, which I think takes a couple months if you send it to like Sweden or something. So that's slightly unfortunate. Not ideal, but that one's gone downfield. A massive kick there from Glasgow, getting it right back down towards the 22 of the Stormers. Now have this ball. Hudsenberg moves up to 40 metres out. I think it's 2 a.m. at night. It is 4 a.m. or just past it here at the moment, here in New Zealand. And Irish brother, awesome so far. You are a legend, brother, says Birdie V. Right back at you, mate. And it is good to see you once again. 2023 so far has been going well. It'll be kicked high by Paul de Vet. Nicely taken by Kyle Steyn, who runs onto it beautifully. 40 metres out now from their line. The Glasgow Warriors going off to the right-hand side. Stagnant pass. Not a lot of forward momentum there for Lewis Bean to run onto. And back again. Going right-hand side, quick hands. Cansieri, whose name I've said absolutely terribly, has found a beautiful pass off now. Inside ball, Cansieri. You can't say it quick, but he scored the try. And he is certainly quick himself. And that will be the first try of the match, scored by the Glasgow Warriors. And Franco Smith, one of the best coaches going around, and also a great centre, 12 and 13. And very well, Betty V. Cheers. And we could have asked Hamish for 2023 spoilers on the 31st set, not your everyday cultures. That is true. Currently time traveling in the future, aren't we? Although I did make the joke on the 1st of January that I hadn't had a shower in 2023. But then that doesn't work now because I've had quite a few. And wait, what says not your everyday cultist? Is that the try for Cancellieri or about the hard drive? Not your everyday cultist. And also definitely Curry Cup wins 2016 and 2019, says Maxime. And try for Glasgow, says Sebastian there as well. Cancellieri. Cancellieri. As soon as you try and say it quicker than you would normally talk, that's when you can't get your tongue to quite wrap around the right way. Glasgow, let's run up on the top side of the field. Maybe Lillian Zast just leaving a bit too much of a gap. And also about the try, I'm surprised there's not everyday cultist. Although Glasgow currently on a 10-match home winning streak. Stormers on a 5-match winning streak, but they lost their last game away from home. That is actually what would have been 6 in a row if they had won that one. In fact, it would have been more than that because they had a bit of a winning streak going into that one. It's a tough kick. Goes away to the left-hand side. I just call him Seb. Says Seb as well. Yeah, Seb works well, doesn't it? Cancellieri. There you go. You just can't say it like it's happening quickly. He's quite a quick player down the wing. And Franco Smith played outside the great Zimbabwean 10. Kenny Simba for the Cheetahs, says John Mills. And also, I mean, we are on a 17-match home streak, says Not Everyday Cultist. And that's the thing, the Stormers, a thing that I found impressive, I mentioned this earlier on, they had 5 home games in a row. Like twice against the South African sides, and I believe 3 more ahead of that up against Northern Hemisphere teams. Not many sides do get to face 5 times in a row walking out to their home ground type thing. And I know Glasgow are quality, though, says Not Everyday Cultist. Yeah, and they've gone with Ellie Price off the bench. So maybe a late injection of experience. Be quite a handy factor here for Glasgow. Looks like it's going to be a box kick from George Horn just outside of the 22. Kick downfield, waiting for this one to come down. Clayton Blumekis tries to run onto it. Doesn't quite claim it nicely, though, and it's picked up for Sardoni. Now, a little bit of space for Ollie Smith, the fullback, lined up by, what's his nickname? The prickly cherry? No, there's some nickname that they give to Stephen Kitsoff that I can't think of off the top of my head. And score update, boss. Says Sebastian, one moment. Here we go. The kick was unsuccessful for the Glasgow Warriors, but still 5-0 up at this point of the match. Going to be kicked high again. Oh, Blommeke's taken out in the air, lands on his head at an awkward angle. He'll stay down for a little bit of time, but all the bed's taking the quick tap. So I don't believe they'll actually go upstairs to look at anything here. It's almost intercepted by JP Dupre. Right, they're going back. It's going to be a yellow card. Spicy Plum, that's the one. What do I call him? The spiky pickle. No, the spiky cherry, I think I called him, didn't I? From the last game, although blowout, I remember Ali Price and the Glasgow 13 being quality. Is Not Everyday Cultist and Ginger. And a red, nah, just the yellow at this stage. Glasgow, they're going to be down to 14 men. A mistake that they couldn't really afford to make at this point of the match because they had the momentum. And now that momentum's probably more than likely going to go the way of the Stormers. So Lewis Bean is the man with the yellow card. Now, I think that's actually not for the original clean out in the air. I think that's for stopping the quick tap from taking place, or maybe not being back 10. They've considered that cynical. So that's why he's gone to the bin, rather than the man who took the man out in the air. And all my hope on the Stormers, says Stephen there, nicely taken by Mavrori. Now the Stormers start to march with this rolling maul. Joseph Weber searching for it at the back. It has gone down, and the advantage is in favour of the away side. All the vet. Across to Stephen Kitsoff, the newly appointed Spicy Plum in our dictionary of the Kiwi lads. It's going to be a penalty. And also we have got there the Stormers. And they're from Not Your Everyday Cultist. Right, Marnie Labok. Looks like they will once again look to the corner because there is a lock off the field. The opposition, it just means there might be a bit more hesitancy for the Glasgow Warriors when it comes to jumping for that ball. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they don't even contest for this ball here. And Ollie Smith genuinely reminds me of Stuart Hogg, a young fullback making a name for himself in Glasgow. Play well for Scotland as well. It's one to watch now and for the future. The rolling ball once again opening up here. Yeah, Ollie Smith, he is. Oh, wow. Dweber's just crushed Kyle Stain there. Dweber goes over. Stormers hit back in this match relatively quickly. Well, since that yellow card and Hamish, What do you think of the Stormers' approach? Not much rotation of the squad compared to many of the other top clubs, says Ethan. I mean, I like it to a certain extent. I feel like you've got to try and find some sort of consistency in your starting lineup, and that is something that the Stormers last year were quite an effective side in that same regard because, wow, just watching Kyle Steyn get bulldozed. Like, Kyle Steyn's not a small winger. He's actually a decently sized one. And Weber, when he just charged, just pretty much sent Kyle Steyn backwards. But yeah, I believe for the Champions Cup, they'll probably rotate the squad just a little bit. And also, Ed has said, "Oi, welcome in, mate." And how's it, Hamish? Is Drickus doing very well? I did yawn before. That is because we've been up for quite a few hours. But other than that, and the hard drive blowing up, it's going all right. Hamish, do you know what team Ollie Kibble plays for nowadays? Ollie Kibble. Where's he ended up? I'm not sure where he's playing at the moment. France? Is he in France? No. Not sure. How's the game so far? It's been action-packed. Marty Labok getting booed by the crowd. The weird thing is he's taking a whole heap of time to take his kick, but his team's not the one with the yellow card. So even though the Glasgow Warriors fans were booing him for taking so long, it actually benefits them in the long run because that's less time that their player has to wait before he gets back out. He plays for Glasgow. Oh, is he still in their lineup or in their squad, Ollie Kibble? Tell you what, we're going to have a look off the bench. No, he's not there. Domingo Miotti is there. That'll be interesting to see how he goes. And no, Ivan Royce, not yet. I don't know if he's injured still because he hasn't been in the Stormers lineup for the past kind of 2 or 3 weeks, I believe, if I'm not wrong, unless he played up against the Lions. That's Hugh Jones playing today. Says not everyday cultist. They have got him at inside centre. Yep, so he's playing 12. At number 13, it is Sione Tuipulotu. Glasgow, knock-on advantage in their favour and massive leg drive there from the number 14, Cancellieri. Now looking to use their backline, which is one short at the moment. In terms of numbers for the 14 on the field rather than the 15. Nice attack and run from Jamie Batty. 38 metres out from the line now. George Horn goes short side. Nice ball off Cancellieri. Once again, does nicely to keep in the field of play. Batty passes to the right-hand side. Good clean out there on Stephen Kitsoff. Now Jack Dempsey pierces through, kneeling for share with the last-ditch tackle made, though. Now a little flick out the back. They've got numbers here. The Glasgow Warriors, it's a 2-on-1 for the corner. Kyle Steyn does get the try. And now Glasgow will take the lead back. Rose will be back in 2 weeks. Never played against Zebra a few weeks ago, so yeah, he's going, still going for Glasgow. Says Sebastian. I thought Jones played for the Stormers for a while, says John Mills. On the road to recovery, not quite match fit yet. Evan Royce. Do you think Stormers will be back-to-back champions? They've got a good chance at the end of the day. They've got a strong side, and they seem to be able to turn it up for the big matches, which is another important factor. Glasgow have dangerous centres. I think it will be smart to move Valimza back to centre position and Duplessis at 13. Match their physicality. So they have actually got Damien Valimza at 12 and then Dan Duplessis at number 13. So I guess they've done what you wanted them to in a way. And in 2011, I lost 2/3 of my PhD on my desktop hard drive. Did it all over again. I hope you can retrieve yours. The second try was better than the loss first. Says roll off. And yeah, I think the unfortunate side of things is how long the process takes. I think it's like a 2 or 3 month process of sending it overseas. So the Christmas special will no longer be too relevant by the time it comes back. At the moment, it's not even that relevant, but we were still going to get away with it maybe a couple weeks after Christmas. But yeah, in terms of vlogging footage, we have lost a huge amount. The GoPro footage, I believe, luckily that was on a different little SD card that I didn't delete it off yet, that I know of. I hope it's not deleted off there anyway, or else we've lost all of that footage as well for the time being. But Glasgow, another misconversion, so it is going to remain 10 points to 7, but a high-scoring one. At the moment, any of your viewers know Benetton at all, Hamish? Doesn't sound like it. And what are the conditions like, Hamish? Wet and slippery? It doesn't look that way. It seems to be quite dry. Because we saw when Kyle Steyn slid there, he actually got a bit of grass burn on his arm just from not really getting too much slippiness. Hugh Jones says David Rossi, he's at 12 for the Glasgow Warriors in this match. Also, we have got there. Can you do a Glasgow accent or South African accent better? Let's see, says Ed. I mean, a Scottish accent is one of those ones that you got to warm into it, don't you? Like, I'm listening to the commentators at the moment. My South African normally annoys South Africans. It's not the best ever. And also Glasgow's inside centre, who used to play for the Stormers. He's a Currie Cup winner, which is rare to say for a Scotsman. Says not your everyday cultist, and that's going to be a big challenge. Cancellieri actually ended up knocking it on because him and his teammate collided in the air. I believe maybe Ollie Smith trying to run onto that one. In fact, no, sorry, it was number 10, Tom Jordan. Couldn't get onto it. All I know is about, or all I know about Benetton, they beat the Bulls in the final. Says Johannes Payne. That is true. And also, we have seen that they recently beat Ulster in this round of the URC. Say, how's it, lad? Is that something a Scottish person would say, or is that for the South African side of things? I feel like I go straight back to like for South African wise, I always try and sound like Dale Steyn. On a scale of 1 to 10, how Kiwi are you, Denham Morrison? Sorry, Hugh Jones says, David, is Ollie Kibble the son of the guy that got shot in Joburg? Hamish, not sure. And I also go with the old white bread or brown bread or the old diplomatic immunity for your South Africa accent, says Ethan. Only 20 minutes down already in this matchup. It's been flying by. How's it in South Africa of saying hello? And then brew as well. You say it with a U rather than an O, don't you? Like here in New Zealand, we say bro. I don't say bro. I don't think I've ever called someone bro. Not on purpose anyway. Whereas South Africa, you say brew. And also for yip, we put Y-I-P. You guys put jip with the J. But you don't say it like jip. You say yip. But it's just spelled with a J, it seems. Little facts. And then Scotland. Anytime you hear like a Scottish person angry, you just know to run because they're about to really get fired up. And hey, Hamish, are you satisfied with the result of the Test series against Pakistan? You were thinking New Zealand should win the series. I think New Zealand will be a bit disappointed not to be able to score, or not score, sorry, but get themselves one of the 2 wins. And then Pakistan might feel the same about that second Test match. Bloody Sharks scored a try. They lead at the Stoop. Yes, Sebastian. Oh, the Sale Sharks up against the Harlequins. My brain froze for a second because I know that the Sharks are playing the Harlequins in the Champions Cup rematch. And I was like, hang on, is that this week? Apparently now, Paul the vet, we're back into the play. It was a little bit of a stoppage. I think they might have had either drinks break or just a boot coming off. And also we have got there, this commentary is really not nice, very poorly, says Derek. Oh, well, see you later, Derek. We won't miss you. Cancellieri takes it nicely down the wing, just runs out of space again and gets driven into touch. We say ha in Zambia. Ha. Is that for hi or just like when you laugh? So we also say ha when we laugh a little bit. Cancellieri, great take under the high ball with Lillian Zas right next to him, but once again caught off his wing. And also we have got there, Derek, your comment is not really not nice, very poor. That's off not everyday cultures. Or Derek, eh? All the vet. They're just talking about that yellow card. And it was for being offside at the time of the 10-meter tap attempt, I guess you could call it. Stephen Kitsoff driving his team forward just a little bit forward there. Diamani now, good carry forward here for him. Makes an extra maybe 10 meters or so before Jack Dempsey is able to wrestle him down. Now Paul de Vet goes off to the short side. To the hands of Dion Forey. Nice pass off to Lillian Zas. Offload up to Paul de Vet, needling Fouchier. It's taken down by number 4 there, Lewis Bean, who's now given away another penalty. Not ideal. Is Lewis Bean number 4 or 5? I think they made a swap. It might actually be JP de Prea, who's there. Now the cross kick attempt, nicely taken by Cole Stain. They'll be going back a little bit early on. Say Dick Duck, lad, Dick Kiwi accent, says Ed. Or Dick Duck. I mean, I'm going to be building a deck tomorrow, which, depending on the accent, sounds a bit dodgy, I guess you could say. So Jacques Naheba, I always say his name wrong, does the African English accent the best. Says a roll off there. Currently, Stormers once again looking to attack the corner, but they've got that kick wrong. It's gone into the in-goal area dead. And now the Stormers, they've relieved a little bit of pressure for the Glasgow Warriors, who will now be almost back to 15 men on the field rather than just the 14. Right, Lillian Zuss. Yeah, not quite getting the angle right there for Manny Labok and stinking Stormers. Basic lads, basics. And Amish, have you seen that Kiwi Aussie advert about the Deeks? I have indeed. And Derek, don't need to listen, just switch off your phone. Says Johannes Payne. I think Derek's already left. That's all right. Anytime I hear the name Derek, I think of Derek Lewis, and then I wonder what's happening in the UFC. In fact, I don't actually know what's happening in the UFC at the moment. I got a couple of big fights coming up. Figueiredo, I think he's going to be fighting, if I've said his name correctly. That's kicked downfield into touch by the Glasgow Warriors. Another decent strike of the ball. Stormers now with the line out. I was trying to yawn without opening my mouth, but it only worked for so long. Yes, come on, money. He's not your everyday cultist. Stormers currently on the halfway line. Another line out attempt. Now, I believe Glasgow are still down to 14. At this point in time, Joseph Weber throws it in. Nicely taken now. Paul DeVette goes across. Clayton Blommeke's actually playing first receiver. It's going to be knocked on first of all by Damien Willemse, and then I think it was knocked on by Glasgow afterwards. And when it's Dricus Duplessis fight again, I know he recently scrapped Darren Till, didn't he? So he's probably got maybe a month or two until his next fight. And Harlequin's setting up their comeback perfectly. The Sharks score another try, says Sebastian. And cheers for the view, Derek. Says Nate there. And who's 10 for the Stormers? Sandwiches is better than the Sharks 10. Says John. So currently at number 10, they have got Marty Labok. So who's the Sharks 10 at the moment? Who have they got there? Kerwin Bosch, isn't it? And Marty Labok is certainly better than Sharks 10. So he's not your everyday cultist there. Yeah, it's a tricky one at the moment because South Africa, once they lose Andre Pollard, they've got a whole heap of these guys who are going to be playing fly half that they've got to decide who that next guy is, whether that is going to be Damien Willemse making that switch to full-time fly half, whether it's Marty Labok, Kerwin Bosch. Who else have we got at the moment? I mean, a little bit further down, you got Chris Smith, Jordan Hendricks. I feel like I've missed one key as well, whose name I can't quite think of. Harlequin's not the same team without Marcus Smith, says Maxime. And Boo Sharks the best. Really struggling for fly halves in South Africa, says Ethan. Yeah, I guess it's that question of, are those ones that I listed up to that standard that the Springboks normally pride themselves on, or is there still a little bit more development needed? Elton Youngkies is out of the equation, isn't he? Yeah, I think he's not allowed to come back at this stage. Hoosen, that's the other one, Johan Hoosen for the Bulls. Now, that's a penalty going the way of the Stormers. A little bit of pre-engaging from Glasgow. Get themselves penalised for it. And ain't Kerwin Bosch the next block 10 name, says John Mills. Depends on who you talk to, really. And you see, Elton just got signed. Who did he sign up with? Not everyday cultist. Was it one of the South African teams, or has he gone overseas again? Willemse is second on the picking order, and I reckon Marnie is third, and Hoosen is fourth. How are you, mates? He's tracking down. No, I'm not doing too bad. Had a bit of a hard drive problem earlier on, which meant we lost all the footage we've filmed over the last 2 years. But other than that, we're pretty good. Got work tomorrow morning, or this morning, so it's going to be exciting. Get to build a deck. You know a thing or two about building decks, Trucking? Mornay Stain says, Maxime, he might be a little bit old, but he'll be back for the British and Irish Lions tour in about 2031 or whenever the next one is for him in South Africa. The old age home close at 5 for Mornay. Sad, says Roloff. Knock on by Dupree. Big boy Low injured Tom Curry. Says Nate there, nicely claimed by the Stormers now. Rolling maul 15 metres out from the line. And it starts to wheel, nicely controlled by Jack Dempsey there to actually be able to shut that one down as soon as possible. Rush defence there from the Glasgow Warriors, maybe a little bit too quick. Referee says play on just for now. Nice pass, Diamani on the outside. Nicely taken by Dan Duplessis. Now Clayton Lomake's hit with the high shot. Is it going to be an advantage? Yes, it is. Referee's just spotted it. And now the Stormers under penalty advantage. Still in a great attacking position. Dion Ferry tries to spin out of that one. Finds the offload back. Marnie Lebok, good hands. Thought about the cross kick option for the third time in this contest, but instead Diamani, they go off to the short side. But Limsa sells the dummy. Well, that was diving in off his feet for Willie Engelbrecht. Got away with that one as well. Now Paul de Vet, it's knocked out of his hands and going back for the penalty. An alternate sign for Asian in France, which is a second division team. A bit of a chippy, their name says. John, not very good at I can't build very well. I just do what I need to. And who will want their rugby mascot to be a clown anyway, says Ed. Taking a touch, 5 metres out from the line, or in fact closer to 10 now. The Stormers, another line out. Already 28 minutes through this match, although mine says 18, but there we go. Now says 28. A little bit of magic. Just showing that slight high shot. Then from Hugh Jones, it did end up connecting with Clayton Blumicky's neck. And now the rolling maul does commence here for the Stormers. The ball's going to be popping out the back now. Still available. Joseph Weber again. Going to roll around the side, almost over the line, but just short. Once again, brilliantly done by the Stormers. Nelly Fouchier gives it off. 2 metres short of the line now. Paul de Vet, one more. Diamani inside ball to the Spicy Plum kits off. I'm going to say it every time. Now Dan Duplessis, close spin to the line. Paul de Vet snipes down the short side, gives it off to Lillian Zas, who's held up just short. Now wide cutout pass. Lomacki's able to run it in. And it is going to be the second try of the match now for the Stormers. And also saw a video playing some cricket. Amish fancy applying for a South African citizenship. Open the betting for us, please, says Ethan. Although I got 3 runs of 21 deliveries. So it wasn't exactly great for that innings. I think, luckily, I actually exported the umpiring that I did as a draft. Because if I hadn't, we would have lost that footage with the hard drive as well. So luckily, I'm going to be able to slightly adjust it. And we are still going to have some sort of cricketing umpiring video. I'm hoping to have that come out tomorrow, I should say. Where's he from? Seb, says John Mills. That's Andrew Brace, John, the Irishman, as the referee, and better than most of our batters average, I reckon, says Ethan. Yeah, hopefully in the future I can improve. I think we're going to have a T20 competition coming up relatively soon, so that will be one that I certainly can't go at a strike rate of about 15, somewhere around there. Now the Stormers sitting on 12 points with a kick to come for Marnie Lebok. I'll line this one up with 10 minutes left. And hey, bro, you are shining today, says Anaket. It's probably the bright lights. It might be a little bit too bright, to be honest. And do you think the URC is more entertaining than Super Rugby? We did not really get into this. This side, time will tell, says Roloff. I think I still enjoy Super Rugby just that little bit more, mainly because I do know the whole squads, every single player type thing. And no, he's not biased. Irish people hate him. Hate everyone equally, says Sebastian. But yeah, I think the URC, it's a different style. And I quite enjoy both aspects. Like, if it was the choice of you can only have one or the other competition, I would be very sad to have to kick one out. But yeah, I like watching both. All right, and who do you think will win? Current Crusaders versus current Stormers. Depends on where they play and who's available in their squads. The Irish Mafia, says John. And they even hate all the other Irish people, says Gareth. Yeah, like South Africa, if they're playing in South Africa, the Stormers probably take it. If they're playing in Christchurch, you say Crusaders probably take it. It just depends. Now, Glasgow Warriors throw it in deep. Was it straight enough? That was kind of forward, but it's going to be play on just for now. Vailanu receives it in the lineup. Bit of a set play. Oh, now we've gone back for the 4 pass. Someone realised. There we go. They got it in the end. Namish, did you know that there is an neighbourhood in Perth? There's so many South African expats that many have applied for the local high school to start teaching their subjects in Afrikaans. I did not know that. Not your everyday cultists. They are just showing that pass to Vailanu was drifting slightly forward. And also, it's not called packing for Perth for no reason, says Gareth. An honorary Safa. You did a great role of the Arwen saying Fori, says David Ross. And the guitars behind the green screen, but I can play the South African national anthem on guitar. So that's something else that I guess slightly puts me up there. Some South Africans' books. Quins took the 3 with 2 tries down. F me life. They just wait until these final moments. We know this, Sebastian. They like coming from behind. Currently, the drinks break in Glasgow, both sides. Few hands on hips. It's a little bit tired, perhaps. Let's say they're playing in Australia and the squad have no injury. Australia, I would still back the Crusaders just because it's slightly closer to their home. Time zone wise, how long are the Stormers in Australia before they play? That's another question. And please not Hulsen, says Johannes. And Ozabasa versus Atletico tonight. Which side you rooting for, bro? I'm not actually too sure who's in either of their sides at the moment, to be honest. I haven't watched too much of the Spanish league recently. Yeah, I'm not too sure who's actually in those sides. Also, what happens at the Aviva in Dublin then, Hamish? Says John. Northern Hemisphere game would be interesting. Once again, how long have the Crusaders been there? Because Stormers will be used to the time zone, just not quite used to the conditions. Whereas Crusaders won't be used to the conditions and won't be used to the time zone either. The Stormers need to stop giving away unnecessary points after the kickoff has become a trend. They score a try, then a penalty. At the restart afterwards, they slip up and give away unnecessary points. And Bar says Lewandowski. That's all I know, says not your everyday cultist. I didn't even realize they had him, to be honest. I think the last time I was following the Spanish league relatively well was probably back when, believe it or not, when Messi played for Barca and Ronaldo played for Real Madrid. And if we'll ever see the South Africa teams rejoining Super Rugby, boy, it'll be a much more entertaining competition, says Ed Vogel. From my perspective, Australia and New Zealand is the same country, says Roloff. They're pretty similar. Which I know would annoy a lot of New Zealanders and Australians, but a lot of them are asleep. Currently in the middle of the night. Saying 4:38 a.m. here in New Zealand. Scrum feed finally down, so the drinks break is over. Available at the back for Paul Devet to try and use it for the Stormers. Currently only 2 points difference between these two sides. They haven't got the advantage, though, in favour of the Stormers. Wide cut-out pass, nicely taken by Lelion Zas. To clean it up in the midfield, he's decided going to go searching for the ball a little bit more, perhaps, near the end of this first half. Although his defence, I don't think it's been that sharp throughout the early stages of the match. So maybe needs to make sure he's still out on that wing. Ollie Smith now looking to clear this one downfield. He has found touch. Collecting Bloemetjies. Considered taking it quickly, and he does. Just gets it to go to the 5 meters by about half a centimeter. Damian Valimza gets the knees down to the ground, but he's lost that ball, and it's on the side of Glasgow. They say play on, kicked him behind now by George Horn. It's going to set up beautifully for Bloemetjies. A lot of pressure at the moment. The Stormers just out from their own 22, number 2 off feet, so he has to get out of there. Now it's available for the Stormers inside of their 22. Still driving forward, Paul Devet. Looking for the box kick now, just outside of the 22. Looked like a bit of a line change there from Jack Dempsey. Got away with it, seeing as the man wasn't too close to the ball that was chasing Ali Price. Going to be coming off the bench later on in this game. That's a huge amount of experience to boost this Glasgow side. So the biggest thing for them will be keeping it close up until that second half. That ball's going to be lost from Japri Dupre. Initially, they said it's gone backwards, and then the referee was told that it did end up drifting forward. And also, we have got there chat about the game that's on, says Wade. Will do. Roll off, I reckon, Hamish, for a split-second thought of banning you there after your last comment, says Ethan. And did you mean to say you didn't watch the FIFA World Cup either, says Annika? I watched a little bit of it, but the time zones weren't convenient for us. And a majority of the time, we were also streaming rugby. So it made it very hard to be able to juggle. Why are the lines so rubbish now, Hamish, says John? Unfortunately, they seem to have a very good youth academy, the Lions. They feed great players in, and then other clubs pay more money for those players, and they all leave. That's kind of the best way of describing the Lions. Unfortunately, they develop players, and then they just lose them. And both countries are Commonwealths. And there, and also we've got that Hamish is broadcasting a South Africa game. Oh, Hamish broadcasting South Africa game. So he's cool. Says the roll off there. If you can't distinguish an Aussie from a Kiwi, guy wearing flip flops and stinking of charcoal and fish is the Aussie. Sebastian, looks like there is an injury here. What is that for? I think that's Lelian Zas, who's ended up with an injury here. So that is a bit of a shame. Went searching off his wing for the ball, walks away with an injury instead. They will have to make that change now for the Stormers. They've got some decent replacements coming off the bench. And also, you tell him, Bezza, says Nate. Marvin already looked like he might have had a bit of a niggle as well, but he's all right to be able to continue. Only 5 minutes left in this first half. And like I mentioned, it has gone very quickly. The Cheetahs were like that. Everyone stole their players, says John Mills. Right, the time is back on. Still been quite a few stoppages throughout this matchup. I know they're trying to cut down on that for 2023. Here comes Davids. Says not everyday cultist here. Angelo Davids, very handy for the blitz box. Was they're going to be in action in only about 2 weeks, I believe, when we see the blitz box running around again. Big push from Glasgow. Close. Oh, the penalty goes the way of the Stormers, and the home crowd are not happy about that one. Said that there was just a little bit of wheeling going on, collapsing under pressure. That will be the penalty. I don't see the Stormers going for another scrum. I think they'll be very keen to kick this ball into touch as soon as possible. So it was a big push from Glasgow initially. My Siri's just turned on. I don't know why she's done that. And also, no one, I got Cash and Joburg anymore. She's not your everyday cultist. Right, we were just getting a little bit of information from the touch judge. 4 minutes left of the first half. Plenty of time for the Stormers to be able to convert another try on the board. Currently sitting 2 tries. They need 4 for that bonus point. And that way, minimum, they walk away from this game with a total of 1 point. And we should go for touch. There's not everyday cultist, and they have done just that. Paul DeVette now passing off to Dion Forey. Sitting 22 metres out from the line here. Paul DeVette once again going off to the right-hand side. Nicely taken by Hudson-Berg, who cuts back off his right step. Dempsey takes him down. Player's done well to get out of the way of that one. I think that was George Horn to try and dodge it. Now another good tackle made by George Turner. Big run from Johan Nedling for Shear. No hands in there for Glasgow. There's hands in there for Glasgow, so I'm surprised he didn't get penalised. Now going over the top. Turner's been told not to play with it. Now Kitsoff trying to break through. Saw Dorney, the man who he's going head-to-head with in the scrums. Stormers 5 metres out. The moment from the line. Paul DeVette back across to Kitsoff. Does the spin, finds the offload to Dion Forey as well. Being taken down. Paul DeVette now 10 metres out from the line. The Stormers continue to attack. They're up to about 8 phases at the moment. For Shear might be injured, is he? No, he might have just had a little bit of a loose carry for Nelly Fouchier. Penalty goes the way of Glasgow, locking himself over the ball with the big man Sione Vailanu. And he manages to get the much needed change. And everyone says go Stormer, or everyone say go Stormer, says Wade. Oh, quick tap from Glasgow. They've been told that they weren't allowed to, though. They are now going back. And if the Lions aren't careful, the Cheetahs might replace them. Cecil Africa retired a long time ago. He's not everyday cultist, although he was actually a part of the Commonwealth Games squad, wasn't he? Where's Cecil Africa these days? How much is he still playing? So not in Union, but yeah, he did have a little stint in the sevens. Didn't get a huge amount of game time. And now I think he's more of a coaching role for the blitz box. So we have got there as well. Yes, in South Africa now, Commonwealth, Gareth. His name. Downfield towards the touchline, and it does go out. Joseph De Weber running hard at that line, and then straight away Vailanu. The fact that he was able to not put his head straight down and lock over the ball, he was able to look up and just look at who was coming at him and still get that turnover. He's sorry, I mean he retired from Union long ago, South Africa. It's a great name though, says Sebastian. He was pretty great at scoring tries too. throughout the 7 circuit. Nice run from Sione Tuipulotu. I think if you name Sione in this game, you just charge straight at the line and hope for the best. Nice carry from Glasgow. Looking for the offload, though. That was risky, and it hasn't paid off. Now the Stormers able to turn that ball over. 1 minute 30 left of the half. Trying to go up the middle. Clayton Blomakis. Tackled by an off-balance Sordoni, who's done well not to fall off his feet. Now Dan Duplessis. That opened up a big gap, whoever that was, who ran off their wing. Now Angelo Davids. He's dropped the ball this time. Now JP Dupree going back across just outside of their 22. Now Glasgow looking for the 50-22. Ball's not quite going to curve. In fact, it's set up quite nicely for Mani Lebok. Gives it back across to the fullback, Blomakis. And he doesn't find touch with that one either. Yeah, this ball seems to just be sitting up on this turf for the first bounce. Maybe because it's dry, and also just looks like, oh, what a shot that is. Yeah, oh, stolen straight away by Hudsonberg. Everything's happening at the moment in this match. That was a big shot coming in from a long way out by Dion Henry. The Stormers take it back. 30 seconds left. Mani Lebok with the no-look kick in behind. Well taken there by Ollie Smith. Might look to just go with a couple phases here for Glasgow. There's not much time left on the clock. It's across to Lewis Bean, a man who got penalised earlier on. And what's the position in territory, please, boss? Says Nate, we will get that as soon as the halftime whistle sounds. We've currently got another 10 seconds or so, and then we'll find it. And Angelo David says, Butterfinger's man, biggest weakness, says Ethan. And I always said about him in the blitz box, the reason he was so good was because Selvin Davids was making him look very good. Like, he would set him up so many times throughout a match. And Angelo Davids, because he was scoring the tries, he'd get all the credit. But I think Angelo Davids, without Selvin Davids, has nowhere near as much talent. He's still a very good player, but nowhere near as high as he was when he was with Selvin as well. And we were with Australia, one of the first dominions in the Commonwealth, but left in 61, rejoined in 94, and Queen's trailing by 8 at halftime. Would it be a comeback if we weren't trailing, would it? Exactly right. In fact, early in the second half for the Sharks, just to make it interesting, Selvin is an orchestra on his own, says Ethan. Right? A little bit of a mistake there at line-out time for Joseph Dweber. Once again, a wonky line-out throw. Something that has kind of stuck around for him throughout a majority of his career at this stage, Joseph Dweber. Scrum feed will be in favour of Glasgow, who may look to just boot this ball into touch and call it half-time. They're down by 2 points currently. You don't want to play too much longer than you necessarily have to. I'd love to see a stat on it, of what percentage Quins go on to or go into the second half behind. Yeah, they're always down by, I'd say, an average of about 10 to 15. Nice break and run here for the Glasgow Warriors. Going to be a foot race. Angelo Davids able to win at that time. Finds the offload up. Beautiful ball on the inside, but Mani Lebok just runs it dead. And that is now going to be half-time, but it could have been a miracle into the half for the Glasgow Warriors. This defies the Stormers game. There's a Denny there, and also we have got there, give the Stormers players a beer for the first half, says Wade. A great run from Hugh Jones. Found the offload up. Just no space at all down the wing of Cancellieri. So he had to find the pass. Unfortunately for his sake, it found the hands of Mani Lebok rather than one of his teammates. And they do now go into halftime. 2 points down, 12 points to 10. Damn you, Hugh, says Mimin there. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got plenty more URC coming up in the future. Also, the Blitzbox 7. We have got some cricket coming up in the near future as well. If you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. In fact, we are currently 13 away from 21,500. If you do want to help us out, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's see if we can get to that 500 before the end of this stream. No boss position and territory percent. That reminds me, you did mention that, didn't you? One moment. Go like this. We'll go like this as well. I would say it's relatively even. Maybe territory a little bit more in favour of the Stormers at a guess, but then there's been some big runs. My Wi-Fi is going very slow. One moment. We'll click here. Hopefully it's going to do it. Is it doing it? It's kind of doing it. Almost. There we go. Right, so the territory and position according to the official URC thing, website. The position at the moment is 58%. Oh no, URC, you've had a shocker here. 58% in favour of the Stormers, 43% in favour of the Glasgow Warriors. Now, I'm no scientist, mathematician, smart person, but that equals 101%. Where they got that extra one from? That's my big question. Game of the weekend so far says they'll be definitely back and forth between these two sides, which has been very entertaining to watch. Territory, they haven't got that yet. In fact, they don't have the territory set. True, second half. It'll be interesting. Thanks, boss. And can't Sev give me a rigging job in Romania, Hamish, says John Mills. I mean, if he's given anyone a rigging job in Romania, I'd like to put my hand up as one of the first receivers of said job. Just because it'd be all right, wouldn't it? And I was like, give Stormers a beer for what, says Michael. And what, you want Seb to give you a rim job? Okay, don't put me down for that one, though. That can be all John. Rounding up, says David. Yeah, well, even rounding up, you'd go to 105, wouldn't you, rather than 101? Territory, there we go. Actually, 63% for the Stormers, 38% for the Glasgow Warriors. I'm going to refresh and see if there's a chance that they've corrected that. No, it's still 101% territory for this matchup. I saw a big run, though, from Joseph De Weber in the first try of the match for the Stormers. Did see an early try for Cancellieri out on the wing. And then also we saw a try for Kyle Steyn. And then the last try for the South Africans was scored by Clayton Blommetjies. And also doesn't add up. Was that 101 too? Yeah, no, it is 101 again. They just like to add that extra 1%. This is fun. WTF, Gareth. All right, I've got one vacancy for rigger and one for rimmer. You have to sort it out between yourself. Shotgun rigger. So they can score 10 more tries in this game, says Wade. 10 tries would be impressive. At the end of the day, they only need another 2 to be able to get themselves that bonus point. If I was on that pitch, I'd only want a hot coffee, says Not Your Everyday Cultist. And there as well. Yeah, relatively chilly in Glasgow at the moment, it is fair to say. But South Africa, the thing that will hurt more than the cold is losing this match. And too much information, my guy, says Nate. Yeah, that Weber try. There was no stopping him from that close. It must be an extra minute or two on top of the 40 minutes. The statistician's brain can't handle it. I don't do porn, Hamish. I'm that too old, says John. Well, I mean, I would say something, and that's like there's categories for everything in there. George would be able to tell you. He's a bit of a knowledgeable bloke when it comes to all things internet and whatnot. And hey, Hamish, where did Glasgow come in last season's URC? Oh, sorry, hey, Michael. That wasn't my. I don't know where I read Hamish from Michael. They're quite different names, although they both have an H, an A, an M, and an I. So that's something, isn't it? It's relatively close in some regards, but currently halftime, like I mentioned. Stormers, they've had some good attacking plays and also made the most of that man advantage that they had earlier on in the contest, but we've seen some great counter-attacking play from the Glasgow Warriors. And that's why Stormers definitely can't take their foot off the throttle in the second half, no matter how fatigued or no matter how cold they are. I'm Aussie, mate, says Michael. And there as well. Yeah, it's that first initial try that they were able to get down that wing. Cancellieri just beautifully running down. Not a lot of space on that top side, but they were able to make it work. And then it was actually a Glasgow Warriors try. It was also well worked. I heard Leinster is scared for the Stormers. Says Wade. I mean, I don't know about scared. I'm sure they're up for the challenge because at the end of the day, it's going to be quite an exciting one to see two sides who have lost minimal games throughout this URC competition go head to head. There's always something special about when that happens. And I think this one is going to be one of those matches that really do deliver as well. Now, the thing is, it's still a little bit away. We're sitting approximately about 60 days away from it happening. Where's Kyle Goodwin then, Hamish? Well, Godwin. So I know he left the Western Force Did he end up going to Glasgow and Kyle Godwin, or did he end up somewhere else? And London Irish is doing well against the Bears, leading 17-7 at halftime. Says, Sebastian, the only thing we have in common with Kiwi is Uncle Jack on the flag. Get a grip, says Michael. There's a few similarities between the two of us. I feel like in terms of, well, I don't know. I was going to say the laid-back nature, but that sounds like maybe that's only a Kiwi thing. But in terms of like, there's a bit. I feel like I could list a few, but I won't. In terms of things that New Zealand and Australia are similar in. Time zones is one that's relatively close. Accents relatively close as well, but they're just stock standard things, aren't they? Just showing once again that ball. It was a nice wide cutout pass from Paul de Vet to be able to find the hands of Clayton Blomakis. He got to the breakdown extremely quickly, about 4 times in a row, which created the chance. You somehow both created Pavlova, genius, says Sebastian. And the flag pole, says Nate. And alrighty, you didn't think so, says Michael. You all drink Bundaberg, don't you? Yeah, I do enjoy a Bundaberg. Definitely a mango flavored one. Also, isn't the only flag difference that Big Cat's bum home under Uncle Jack on the Australia flag? There's a couple extra stars on the Aussie flag compared to the Kiwi one. Kiwis have got the Southern Cross. Australia, I'm not sure of the flag representation for stars on theirs. And Evan Travel Woes are following us from Super Rugby, says Mimania. At the moment, the Stormers, if they lost this game, that would be the 3rd South African side to lose this weekend. There's only 4. The Bulls would be the only victorious one. But if the Stormers get it, then it's 2-2, so not too bad. Now, as I said, the main difference I noticed between Kiwis and Aussies, Kiwis being laid back and humble, says Ethan there. We'll take it. Not too far away from the second half, getting back underway. They're actually making decent time at the moment. Yep, it took 2.5 days travel. Says not your everyday cultist. And there as well, and Gallipoli, Hamish. And left Monday, arrived Wednesday, says Mimania. So I believe the next game for the Stormers will be a part of the Champions Cup. Next game for Glasgow is a part of the Challenge Cup, so they won't find themselves going head-to-head in any other competition anytime soon, just the URC. Just have a quick look. The Stormers, I believe, who do they play next? I think they've got Clermont again, if I'm not wrong. Stormers, no, I am wrong. They have got London Irish next week, and then they've got Clermont. And then in the URC, they have got Ulster. Then they play the Sharks on the 4th of Feb. He was not humble, only you, Hamish, says Michael. Once again, I'll take it. Is there a 9-hour flight from Cape Town? Says Mimania. New Zealand was almost a state of Australia. You don't find the AB fans bragging. Says not your everyday cultist, although it depends. You can still find a few Kiwi fans that do a lot of talking. Although they've gone relatively quiet since Foster was in charge, because what have they had to talk about? Not a lot. After the World Cup, I feel like whoever's going to end up winning the World Cup, their fans are going to definitely let everyone know about it for the next 4 years. That's Rich coming from a Springbok fan, says Sebastian there, and I brag a lot to my Safa mates in Zambia, says John Mills. Doing some practice up and unders there by the looks of it. A couple of the reserves, or in fact, they might be the Ball Boys. Some decent hands on them by the looks of it. But the next game for Glasgow, for anyone wondering, it has now cancelled me out of my app. It said, no, you will not find out Glasgow's ones. There we go. Got it back. Glasgow. The next game, going to be a Challenge Cup one, and they'll go head-to-head with Perpignan. Ooh. And then the game after that, they will be playing Bath. Ooh. And then they play the Dragons. Ooh. So 3 riveting games in a row for Glasgow. But they might go all right in them. And Aussie Kiwis nothing to brag about these days, says Michael. Yeah, we've learned in the last 12 to 24 months that things are hard in the sporting world sometimes. The difference between New Zealand and any other rugby nation is that they do not allow their players to make money, says Roloff. I never said anything about the Aussie fans. I just said the AB's fans don't brag. The Aussies don't have anything to brag about either, Not everyday cultures. This chat will be a minefield during the Rugby World Cup. All of us are going to survive it, says Sebastian. Yeah, there's going to be, like, that's the thing. Every game, there's going to be a lot on the line. There's going to be a lot of back and forth in the chat. And I don't know how to prepare for it. I feel like we're going to have to stack up on moderators, stack the shelves with timeouts just in case. And Zambia have George Gregan. Going to be a hectic come Rugby World Cup. Definitely when we get to playoff games, like, there's going to be a lot of like facts from recent World Cups thrown in there, such as if Ireland make it to a quarterfinal, everyone's going to say, "Hey, Ireland, look at this. You haven't made it to a semi." Huh? And then like they'll win and move through to a semi, and all those people will never talk on the chat again. Not because we time them out, just because they'll be too scared to come back and say that they were wrong. I've noticed that's a thing. They're just about to get back out for the second half, so we won't go too deep into it, but people don't like to say that they're wrong. And it's a weird one because being wrong is part of actually being able to develop and kind of learn from your mistakes. But if you constantly say, "Oh, no, I didn't say that," or you don't admit to things that you've said, like that's normally when credibility is a tricky one to develop, you know? It's all my little rant. It's going to be, aren't you like Georgian or something? Says, no, everyday goddess. No, he's Romanian. Wait. Do you think I'm an Aussie cultist? Says Sebastian, but that's going to be kicked off long by the Stormers into the 22. Glasgow have this one. It's going to be an exciting second 40 minutes. It's both sides. It's only 2 points between them. Nice big run from Matt Ferguson. We didn't see a huge amount of the big number 6 in the first half. That's going to be off the boot of Glasgow. Stormers get the ball back. Loose carry led to the Stormers. Chance now trying to drive down the wing. Offload from Willemse. Close to the touchline. Willemse runs straight into his own teammate, Willie Engelbrecht. I think he might have almost knocked one of his teeth out in the process. Now Stormers 25 metres out. Will that mistake from Glasgow really cost them here? Jan Fourie supporting Dan Duplessis with a nice carry. Now into the 22, Jan Fourie offloads it again. Now it's going straight into the hands of the number 12, I believe it was. No, that's number 12, Damien Willemse right there. Fighting out on the wing. He's been pushed into touch there for Hudson-Berg, and that will now be the line out for the Glasgow side. And All Blacks can't admit they're wrong. Still living in the past, says Michael Orr. To an extent, like I think everyone but the coaching staff can see what's wrong with the All Blacks currently, but they just don't seem to quite get it right. And yes, but on average, take the ego out of the equation, says Ethan. I mean, it's like me. I said the other day that I didn't feel Ish Sodhi was a test bowler for the cricket side of things, and he ended up getting 5 wickets. So I said, well, I guess I was wrong. Because from what I saw in his first little spell, I thought this looks shocking. And he still bowls full tosses and almost double bounces, but he gets wickets somehow. So that's the positive, I guess, of Ish Sodhi's bowling. At the moment, that's going to be another penalty going the way of Glasgow at the start of the second half. Are there any Scottish in the chat? Not Commonwealth Scottish, real ones. There's roll off. This is where we need to see Steve Smith come back again, isn't it? And Romania based. I've always wanted to see the Romanian countryside, that and Turkey. Says not everyday cultist. It sounds a bit like Tahir, says Ethan. Yeah, it's always an interesting one when a player goes from test match or goes from short format to test match. It can be quite a tricky changeover. Once be put into touch by Glasgow. And someone who's had a good game so far is Sione Vailanu. Yes, he dropped the ball early on. And big call Hamish about Fozzie and Co, says John Mills. Yeah, I know you're a big fan of Fozzie, but not many other people are. And well, your first Kiwi I heard say they were wrong, says Michael in there. But like I said, being wrong is half the fun in a way. Like, if I listed everything that I've been wrong about on this YouTube channel, just look at my predictions. Every time I predict something, it doesn't happen. So I'm pretty skilled in that department of predicting things badly. Oh, Tuipulotu, I'm predicting that his knee was bent the wrong way just then. Well, I wasn't really predicting it, was seeing it and then telling you that it happened. It didn't look too flash for him. Luckily, he's all right. Now going off to the left-hand side. Some more drawn pass here. Off to the left again. Nice attack and run from the big man, Lewis Bean. I think at 5 today rather than 4. Jordan taken back into their own half here, looking for the 50-22. Won't quite get it. And also, if Foster wins the World Cup with the All Blacks, he'll be stuck with him for eternity. And don't say that. There's Nate there. And also, we have got there, and so is John, says David. And Sebastian, no chance, says Michael. You never know. At the end of the day, a World Cup, you get 6 games, 7 games right. You got quarters, semi-final, and then you play 4 games. So if you get 7 games in a row correct, you win. And whereas Fori, cheeky turnover penalty, will do nicely now, lad. Says Ethan, he's been lurking. Dion Fori, nicely taken there by the number 4, Ben Jason Dixon, I believe it is, for this matchup. Big shot put in there on, I think that was Dion Fori actually getting smacked hard by the Glasgow defender. Paul de Vet got it in the pocket, decided instead to give it to Kitsoff. Create a little bit of an extra opportunity. Glasgow get over the ball. They win the penalty, and this would give them the lead now. And raise it to Coach England, says Nate. And also we have got the box got the mess right last time, says Roloff. Everyone always says the Springboks and South Africa teams play boring rugby. We have scored much less maul/scrum tries than the Northern Hemisphere teams. Says not everyday cultist. Question. This is not to try and rack up anyone, but is that because the Northern Hemisphere are better at defending the rolling maul? In the competition anyway. Don't get angry, please. it's just a question. I was like, damn it, I said Fori turnover, not get turned over, says Ethan. Now going short side, Vailanu. Tackled by Kitsoff, who's made a nice tackle attempt. Interesting from Glasgow to go for the 7 points rather than the 3, though. Available for them again. He passed across. George Horn goes to the left-hand side. Big carry from Sordoni. Still available here for Glasgow. Vailanu lines up. Tackled by Labok, who's willing to muscle up, put the body on the line there. Nice step from Jack Dempsey. Kitsoff on the ball. Doesn't quite get it into his hands. That's a great take from Matt Fagerson as the ball was slightly behind him. Dion Furi gets on the ball. There's the turnover you are asking for. They were mostly Northern Hemisphere refs, so they could get away with their more shenanigans. He's not everyday cultist. And here in the West, says Sebastian. Does real good there. Do you know Timisoara in Romania? Timisoara kind of sounds like a dessert. Or is that, no, that's tiramisu, isn't it? I've never had a tiramisu. I don't know what it would be like. I don't even know what it is, to be honest. It could be like a can of spaghetti tipped on its head and put some cream on the top. And that's tiramisu. I think it's got caramel in it, though, doesn't it? And they found out how to weld railway tracks, invented process. And also maybe they do have a lot of South Africans in our team, probably helps defend our mauls, says Ethan. And there he is, Fori. Must be a bit of lag. Took us time to deliver on my request. Yeah, a few miles to travel before it reaches them, I guess, between South Africa and Scotland. Currently rolling maul attempt again. Well defended by Glasgow. Rush defence there from Jack Dempsey, able to get right up to Damien Valimza. Our ball's available. All the vet having to fight hard to get this one and go the Glasgow Warriors players or the Glasgow Warriors players sleeping tablets on the water break, says Wade. And it's Timisoara. That amounts Timisoara. I've probably said that wrong, haven't I? And are you nodding, Donkey Guy, Seb? Are you nodding, Donkey Guy? I tell you what, this is one of the fastest games I've seen in Scotland, says LB. Yeah, both sides certainly pushing the pace here. Currently 48 minutes in at the moment. It's going to be the scrum feed for the Glasgow Warriors. Come on now, Stormers. It's not your everyday cultist. Okay, Paul Levert. That was an interesting one because that was given as use it. And then the referee said you took too long, so it's a scrum feed to Glasgow. We have hardly ever seen that policed in a game of rugby. 3-pointer would be tasty now. Have a look at the offside line, ref. All right, scrum reset. Be trying to get this one back up in 30 seconds, I think is now the goal in international rugby. Does anyone know a lot about hard drives while we've got a bit of stoppage in play? Does anyone know how to stop a hard drive from being corrupted? / like, I think it's the dodgy USB, like, there's a thing that I've got that can have multiple USBs plugged into it, and I think that's actually what's buggering the hard drive. So does anyone know how to get like stuff off a hard drive that's broken? Let me know. Asking for myself because I've blown up 2 hard drives now. Thought you were an oil guy, Seb. And you have to tell me what you mean by that, John. Stop watching the naughty sites. No, it's not like a virus on them. That's one thing I know. Unless rugby's given me a virus, because that's about all I watch on my PC. I used it or lose it. Says Nate. All available again. Okay, turnover for the Stormers. And now Willie Engelbrecht. Why is he grubber kicking that ball? Has he forgotten that he's a number 7? Because he's given the ball straight back to Glasgow in the process as well. And they now move up to the halfway line. Horn goes across, nice inside ball, good hands for Sodoni. Now going back into the pocket, thought about the pass. Over the top, nice work. Now gives it to Cansieri. Just keeping himself in the field of play, still on for Glasgow. And also, we look at the LB spot on rimming. And what the FE's saying, use it. We want the scrum. Why is he forcing us to take it out? This ain't sevens, says Ethan. Yeah, you got hardly any time to be able to use that one, but now it's going to be nicely down the wing. Kyle Stain, poor defense from Blommerkees. Just leaves the gap open down the wing. And Kyle Stain, nice run into the 22. Jack Dempsey trying to break through. Marvin Ori makes the tackle there. Glasgow have all the momentum currently, and Jamie Butty thinks that maybe it's a forward's turn to try and get over the line. And Horn decides, no, sorry, we'll just have a bit of a dash around the side and go nowhere. Now, Matt Ferguson drops the head 10 metres out from the line. They need a halfback. They've got Lewis Bean, one of the tallest halfbacks I have ever seen. Part-time halfback, that is now George Horn. Back where he needs to be. Tui Palotu, nice offload. Great attack and run there. From Hugh Jones, goes through, scores the try. And Glasgow take the lead back. And the small oil rigs, we call them nodding donkey step. And I think the only way to do that is to format it. You might have to buy a new one, transfer onto that one, then format the other hard drives. There's no everyday cultist. Yeah, at this stage, I believe the last hard drive, because I've got like 5, the last one that ended up breaking, I've got to send to Sweden. And they said it's going to take like 3 months for the recovery process. And now that one, I think I'm also going to have to send to Sweden, which is a shame because it's got our Kiwi Lads podcast on it that we filmed that was pretty much edited. But because I need that footage to be able to put it into the editing software each time so that it knows that that is what I'm editing, that's now gone. Christmas lights video that we did for the Kiwi Lads gone, and also probably about 100 other unedited videos that we were going to put on the channel are also now gone until that is fixed. And Andrew Brace, I'll remember the name. There's not everyday called to screw this ref. And Tui Palotu, hey, some tree trunks for legs, says LB. It's going to be kicked over. So now making the score 17 points for Glasgow, 12 for the Stormers. I worked on oil rigs off the coast of Aberdeen. It's a fun one to say, isn't it? 2 economical engines there. Oil and lap dancing. Basically, half of the oil is used as fuel, and the other half they rub on themselves. There you go. I remember Jaco Piper's name for definite, says John Mills. There we go. Scoreboard is updated. 17 points to 12. 28 minutes left in this match. I'm not that knowledgeable on that, so you should probably not take my word for it. It says not your everyday cop. Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse for that hard drive because the earlier one had videos of us from like 2015. So like it's sad that those are gone, but there's also embarrassing ones that I'm kind of glad won't see the surface of the earth ever again, maybe, depending on whether they can get it back. So inside of their own 22 here, Glasgow. Another try here might almost seal the deal for them. You're told to use it there, and they certainly want to use it as quickly as they can. Is that a Quins try? Yes, it is, says Sebastian. So the comeback once again starting. I swear the Quins are the side that makes everyone money. Like if you bet on them and they come back, you're making bucket loads. But then the TAB surely eventually are going to say, hang on, they win every game when they come from behind. JJ Kurtzia coming out onto the park now. That is replacing Joseph Weber. Hamish, you give it a batch to clean all the cookies out of it. It will work perfectly afterwards. How do I give it a batch, Gareth? And give your hard drive to Stephen Kitsoff. You know what to do with it, says Wade, and go Glasgow go, says Paul. I see many YouTubers who are willing to pay thousands to get their old buried footage back, says not Yeri Dave Cultist. Luckily mine's uh under what's it called? Not insurance, but under warranty. So it should be free. I believe I've just got to send it overseas. Did Hugh Jones score that one? Isn't he an ex-Stormers guy? He did score that last try, yes. And he is an ex-South African player. So, yeah, that one probably hurts a little bit deeper. Bad few days for South African rugby, says Michael. Not for the Bulls. They managed to get themselves a victory in terms of positive thinking. I know Ethan is just trying to put up a smoke screen. They just scored again. Oh, did they? Hey, old chap, says Paul, welcome in, bud. I just called you bud. Sorry for calling you bud if you prefer mate. I meant to say mate, but it came out as bud. It is currently almost 6 a.m. here in New Zealand. And I haven't slept, so maybe that's why. Yeah, a few years for Australia rugby. He's not your everyday cultist. Our ball fed in via horn. Nope, ball not going in yet. I'm quickly going to check the odds for the Harlequins game, just because it's always funny looking at them. I'll also check the odds for this game while we're at it. Rugby Union, what we got at the moment. So for this game, Harlequins are $5.25 underdogs. Stormers are $3 underdogs in this game. That seems relatively high, but possibly understandable to a certain extent, seeing as they're down by 5 and there's not a lot of time left on the clock at the moment. This is using up a lot more of this clock time. Between the sides, China and South Africa, says John Mills. How'd that happen? China and South Africa, or China and South Australia. It could stand for both. Now, pass back across. Sione Tuipulotu, big shot put in there. Nice work from Tom Jordan. Now, he would actually go all right, maybe in some sort of wrestling tournament, because he kept his hips low and actually managed to avoid getting taken down. Possibly a mixed martial arts background for Tom Jordan. I don't know the guy. Pretty much everyone from Scotland normally has a fight at some stage in their life, though, don't they? They're quite passionate to an extent, but also they just know how to fight. I think is a good way. Describing Ansao in the series, having a crackerjack season, it'll be tough to stop them. Here's Sebastian, a big boy, and Brew, more common, my part of South Africa. And I was working there, hire an external data storage company, simple solution for the future. Says Roloff. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to start doing it online. So I don't know whether that will be through Seagate or whether that'll be through Google Drive or something, but I think I'm going to have to do it online from now on, just because I've possibly lost like everything. I guess is the best way of describing it. I don't know why I'm smiling, because that's a lot of stuff that I wish I hadn't lost, but yeah, it's one of those ones that you can't fix it unless you can. So you might as well try and fix it, but if it doesn't work out, then that's just the way it is. Money should have been on Glasgow at halftime, like me, by the way. I'm Scottish, not English, says Paul. Do English people call each other bud? I don't think so. They say mate. What else do you say in England? Gaffer? No, that's an Australian thing. What's another cool slang term for someone in England, Paul? Because I don't think you guys go around calling each other bro. And he's Aussie, Gareth, have fun. Are you a Joburg boy, Gareth, says John? And come on, Michael, tell us who you support. And Lions and Sharks, more like mice and sardines. Interesting, okay. I'm trying to work out the comparison between lions and mice, whereas you could have gone maybe lions and cats. And also we've got that mooka or mucka. What does mucka mean, Paul? Is that like a new? It kind of sounds like something else, I'll be honest, but that's a cool name. I'm going to call my friend mucka tomorrow. He'll probably punch me. And he must support the Wallabies, well, like wannabes. And Michael is an Aussie. Which team do you support in Super Rugby, mate? Now still driving 40 of the Stormers. This rolling ball's taking a little while. It's going to be wrestled down by Glasgow, who have kept that ball in, and they have now got themselves a scrum feed. Don't insult the Cats. That's a nice part of the world, Gareth. Yob? A yob? Mice and sardines? Did the Lions morph into a mice? Says Nate. And also they call it my brother and my sister, says Wade. My brother. Is that maybe? I'm trying to think of other like mate's a very common one. Mate's kind of almost universal, other than a lot of countries that don't use it. So it's not really. Hey, bro, I'm from Unduluti, but a staunch Stormers supporter. Says not everyday cultures. Whenever team, or whichever team he supports, he used to endless, relentless, and grinding years of disappointment. Hey, brother, how are you doing? I'm doing very well, mate. Marley has the answer. Says a roll off there. Only scrum feed for the Glasgow Warriors at the inside of their own 22. So a fair way to go to get up the field. Now, how's the weather on the other side of Unduloti? Hopefully, I've said that correctly. But I think I'm saying it absolutely terribly. Now, big push from Glasgow. They haven't had too many scrum penalties go their way. That's got to be one, doesn't it? Yes, it is this time. The penalty goes the way of the Glasgow Warriors there. They are very happy with that result. So we'll allow them to get up the field. A little bit of argy-bargy. Everyone's angry. Very angry man there, Vailanu. He's not really the man that you want to come across in a fight. They're saying walk away. He's like, well, I want to walk into him. I want to drop him. He's got his eyes open wider than Ebenezer Smith. Ebenezer Smith, that's normally his tactic. Just go and see if the guy wants to fight. You're speaking about your own affliction. And also, if you have a chance to choose whom you pick, girlfriend or mum, I want an explanation. Now, depends on the scenario, Andy, because I know that people have twisted minds. And I feel like if I say one of them, then you're going to be like, that you have to do the dirty with. And then you'll be like, haha, got you. But I don't think you're that type of guy. So if I had to pick between a girlfriend and my mum, I would always pick my mum. At the end of the day, like girlfriend-wise, like they come and go, but family's family, aren't they? So yeah, I'll pick my mum over any girl. And she is a girl, I should have mentioned as well. And then my dad's a man, fun fact. Just thought I'd put it out there. And same thing, if it was between a girlfriend or my dad, I'd pick my dad as well. Even gets off, nice drive forward, 42 metres out from the line now for the Stormers. It's an advantage, and it's a penalty. All the vet considers taking it quickly. The Stormers, I don't think they'll go for the 3. I know, I mean, in reality, no joke, it is serious. Says Andy might say, yeah, I'll pick my family. I'll pick my parents. All right, Amish player, girlfriends. They come and go, says Nathan. Well, my last one, some of you know the scenario there. That was an interesting learning experience. Yeah. It's a weird one. Happy New Year, Hamish. Nice to see you. Or nice to have you covering rugby, says Vinton. And we've got plenty more coming up in the near future, whether that's Sevens, Rugby Union, the URC Champions Cup, Six Nations just around the corner. Ethan, you had me laughing. Says, not everyday cultist. Will you cover more matches of the competition? Yeah, we sure will. It's a shame that we've only been able to cover one throughout this weekend, but it's mainly because the test match between South Africa and Australia did take my voice away a little bit. And tell us, Hames, and if I said enough there, Hamish, says Ethan. Some of you know the scenario. I might tell you when we have a stoppage, but I won't say names or anything like that. But there are multiple involved. Dion Fori, only 2 metres out from the line now. Paul DeVette goes off to the short side. Not quite getting over the line now. Closer again. Half an inch out for Dweber. Paul DeVette leaves it for his big forward. The try for the Stormers. And they're back in the contest. And I was a great brother. I'll do the same, but my mum is no more. But I chose mum over any woman. Says Andy Mike. And then come on, the Stormers up. Fire up. And they have. And they were $3 underdogs the last time I checked. Now they won't be. I wouldn't think it. Bonus content on the stream from Hamish. Says Ethan there. Yeah, now you guys are intrigued, aren't you? These late night live streams always get everything out of me. In terms of speaking, I should clarify. Okay, what a place to live. You're lucky, China, says John Mills. Yeah, with that try being scored, $3 underdogs is no longer. They are only $2.15 underdogs now. Respect Andy. He's not your everyday cultist. And there as well. Right? Junior Pokomela. Was he the man who just scored that try? Yes, he was. Now that's 3 tries apiece. So whoever gets the next try gets a bonus point or scoring 4 or more tries. And then whoever scores the try after that, if it's the other team, also will receive a bonus point. This is an interesting one. Glasgow and the Stormers are both paying more than $2, and the draw is paying $4.50 at this stage. And Stormers yell like a ding. And time left says Willem, oh, that's a tongue twister, mate. Willie Meehan. My tongue don't want it. Willie Meehan. Willie. Can we call you Willie, please? Current time left. They've got 17 minutes at the moment left on the clock, and Stormers so much for the walkover by the Stormers, says Michael. You managed to speak so loudly at nighttime streams with your parents sleeping. Pretty much, if I wake them up, I'll know about it the next day. Like tomorrow, I'm shifting a Holly timber for my dad. So depending on how many times I've woken him up throughout this live stream, will depend on how much time I've got allocated to being able to move said timber. All right, the Glasgow Warriors in possession again, rush defense. Doesn't work out for Angelo Davis. Left a gap on the outside now. Nice run from Matt Fagerson. I see that Nilt has gone off the field, or on the field, sorry, and that is for Horn. And also, I was talking about previous games. Time left, says Willie, and it is currently now 16 minutes remaining. Not long at all. And the score is currently updating. There we go, 17 all between the two sides with only 15 minutes left. I'll say, come on, Stormers, says Daniel. Another big run from the Glasgow Warriors, 40 metres out from the line. Good work in the breakdown from Stephen Kitsoff. Now, this is a kickable 3 if they want it. We have seen neither side take 3 points throughout the whole of this matchup. But this might be the time to be able to take it now. Right, they're taking on the 3 points now. Come on, the Stormers get the W. And you do not. A whole name translated in Afrikaans says Roloff. And which team is supporting, Glasgow or the Stormers? I mean, I know we've got a majority of South African viewers. So if I said Glasgow, they'd get mad at me. But I've got a soft spot for the South African sides, of course. It's actually raining at the moment at the ground. So it seems like it's getting wetter by the minute. And from where are you? I'm from New Zealand. So we're currently sitting 5:30 a.m. New Zealand time. My eyes are probably, you can't quite see it there. You see a little bit of bloodshot, but they are worse off camera, I have seen. The voice is hardly holding up as well, but tomorrow I get about a 4-hour sleep and then we're back into working. Probably going to do about an 8-hour day of building. I think Michael supports League, says Gareth. Who do you think will win? I think the Stormers have got a decent chance. They were underdogs, but now with momentum starting to build here, that's got a decent crack. Amani Labok has missed that kick. That's a little bit different. And also, we've got your eyes looking so tired, get sleep fast. I think he's a Melbourne supporter and raining. Time for DeWitt to shine, says Ethan. And Trooper, good job, says David Ross. Hang on, what's happened here? It's actually a knock on. Tried the short dropout, ended up dropping the ball, and now the Stormers have got a chance on the 22. And Marnie, Glasgow, Hugh Jones try, says John Mills. And who do you think, or what do you think of South African national team? I think they're pretty handy overall. I think they're going to be one of the top contenders for this next World Cup. It is only about 7 months away or 8 months away. I can't sleep, says Wade. What time is it where you are, Wade? At the moment, yes, please, says Not Your Everyday Cultist. And also we have got there, we got to have a chance. Give you trash back, says Gareth. And now Dion Forey goes off the field, drinks a bit of Powerade. Those electrolytes flowing in that big body of his. He's had a big game. He's got a couple important turnovers. Stormers currently $2.50 underdogs. Warriors to win this game is also $2.50, and the draw is $3.10. Everything is close at the moment. Amani the box boot is not consistent. Says Exam Williams. Penalty goes the way of the Glasgow Warriors. And Stephen Kitsoff goes over to the ref and says, are you serious, buddy? We thought we put a big push in. And what is the story behind the New Zealand rugby player called Duplessis? I was confused when I first heard that. New Zealand rugby player called Duplessis. Oh, Duplessis Karefi. His first name was actually named after one of his parents' favourite South African players, I believe. So they went Duplessis, and then his last name's Karefi as well. And Kerwin Bosch, the man, says John. I haven't even started, Gareth, says Michael. And come on. He's not your everyday cultist. The Marnie miss again. He did, Drekus. Did end up missing out to the side. And Marnie's Marnie Leboc's boot is not consistent, says Ixana. Welcome in, mate. We haven't seen your name in a little while, so I hope you have had a good Christmas and Happy New Year. Nicely taken by the Glasgow Warriors here. Looking to attack. Sione Tuipolotu sees a little bit of a gap opening up now for him. On across to the left-hand side. Jack Dempsey, another big crash. Currently, the South Africans, they haven't got long left on the clock. Only 11 and a half minutes left in this one. Are the Harlequins losing worse, Sebastian, now, or are they doing not too bad? Oh, there's time off. It's a player seriously injured by the looks of it, so we'll have to stop. Oh, well, that is a big compliment for us as Saffers in New Zealand are naming their kids after Springbok, says Ethan, and Duplessis Karifi is another option for that number 7 spot. Anyone but Sam Kane, basically, says Sebastian there. And come on, boys, he's not everyday cultist. I've just realised with this injury stoppage, it now means that there is that spare spot that I could tell you about my previous, but the ones who are just tuning in don't want to hear about my previous relationship ventures, do they? They want to hear about some rugby, hear about some statistical facts about what's happening. I've got a feeling Glasgow winning at the moment. They are actually the favourite option of the three to be able to go on and get themselves the victory, but only another 11 and a half minutes left here and still trailing by 8 other Quins. Shannon Frizzell for mine says John, and New Zealand loose forward trio has to be Satudu, Savi, and Black at a right. I think so, and if they're not going to go Savi at 7, I'd say Savi at 8, and then Dalton Papali'i 7. Although, yeah, it's a tricky one because, yeah, Satutu, don't get me wrong, great player, but I think they want to have Savi at 8. That seems to be their tactic at the moment. You can always tell the story after the game if you're comfortable with that. Says not everyday cultist. All the chat says yes, we would really all like to hear, says Ethan. There's not a lot to tell though, overall. In terms of, I had a girlfriend. We went to a Halloween party. I had to come home early because I had a live stream to do. So I was committed to the boys and the girls of the YouTube channel. Remember that. And she ended up playing hide the sausage with another fellow. But she didn't have a sausage, I should mention. And I was like, no pressure, Hamish. I just pull in your leg. You do as you please, says Ethan. But yeah, it's nice for her. She's now engaged to him. It only happened about a month ago, but she's engaged and now expecting their first child. So everyone wins. Glasgow are hard to beat at home because of the bad weather, says LB. But now George Sherner making his way back out onto the field. And it's going to be for Brown. So he would have thought his night was over, George Sherner. He would have almost done his warm down, been ready to go home. Not quite. Oh, they're saying it might be an illegal clean out, but yeah, he was asleep right there. That man on top. Now it's going to be the scrum feed for the Glasgow Warriors. She actually get pregnant? Yeah. Yeah, she did, Sebastian. Yep. From that Halloween night too. So Halloween, she might have played hide the sausage too well to an extent. Ball's been fed in. Now available at the back for Ali Price, a late change for the Glasgow Warriors. Now little grubber in behind, not going to work out, and they've just given the ball straight back to the Stormers now here. I feel like it was probably not the best move that they could have done. The Stormers still a very good chance being able to go on and win this one. Has anyone watched a Train Spotter? That old game, Hide the Sausage on Halloween. This is poor man. I reckon who lost, you dodged one, says Ethan. That's what I think as well. And you know what they say? At first you don't succeed. There's a Sebastian going through now. Glasgow, though. Great attacking opportunity. Pass on the outside. Only 30 metres out for the line, but Paul the vet on the ball. Did he get the clean turnover? He didn't. It's been ripped back by Glasgow. We now have another crack. Being told to leave it there for Johan. Kneeling for share. Yeah, watch Train Spotting and understood everything about Scotland from that, says LB. Now back across, the cutout pass goes into touch, and now it's going to be once again South Africa's Stormers have got a bit of a crack with 10 minutes left. This game's heating up quite a bit. Mind the bowl, says David Ross. There as well, but they're just showing that defensive line of South Africa's Stormers, which I don't know why I've called them that twice in a row. I should be calling them the DHL Stormers. They have left massive gaps in fairness train spotting in Edinburgh. There's a Glasgow way worse than Edinburgh, says Sebastian. Looks like Sunday's going on to the field now. That is for Nettling for sure. And also Brock Harris making his way out onto the park. That is for Stephen Kitsoff. The Stormers having to make a few late changes. Kitsoff's looking like he's a bit sore, perhaps. Slowly walking along. And also time for the ref to take centre stage and defend for Glasgow, says Ethan. Nicely taken by the Stormers now, though. They're just outside of their 22. They kick it downfield, looking for that 50-22 option. But it's nicely taken by Cancellieri, who now charges at the line, driven backwards in a solid tackle made by the Stormers. Bagros again. Short hands, good hands from Jack Dempsey in the process as well. And come on, Suzzy. Now back across. Glasgow Warriors looking like they were going to do that pop pass up, but never quite found it. Come on, Stormers, you can do it again. Big shot. Oh, Turner dropped on his head almost accidentally. Now inside of their 22, they have to kick it downfield. Let's get the W. Says not your everyday Cotta's taken nicely from Clayton Blumenkeys now. Looking to pass it across. Little bit of pressure on Marnie Lebock, who broke the tackle. Now hands on the outside from Diamani. It was a flat pass off to Angelo Davids. Stays in the field of play now. Paul DeVette going back across again for the Stormers. They've got men on the outside. Why did Damien Willemse kick that out on the full? You silly goose. That was their chance, and he's just butchered it. And that's another sale try. No comeback this time round is what it is. Says Sebastian, and come on, boys, and Glasgow can be rough. Awesome as a tourist. But wouldn't want to live there. Look at something, or look at someone the wrong way and get a Glasgow smile. Or the Glasgow kiss, as they call it, which is just a headbutt. It's very friendly, isn't it? Willemse, you plonk, or you plank, says Ethan. And also Willemse says not your everyday contest here. Not the time for a kick there, I don't think. And they had a good attacking opportunity. And all you needed to do was just pass that ball through the hands, get it out wide, and she was a try probably 5 times out of 7. That's a very specific number, but we'll go with it. The moment now, it means that the Stormers are $3.30 underdogs now. Glasgow are $3.20. So anyone who's into their betting and whatnot, if you think either of these sides are going to be able to get the win before the end of the match, like, you can make some decent money for it. You can even back both of them, but then if it's a draw, you lose double the money. Please put the match on the screen, says Glenn. Sadly, due to licensing, we're unable to show match footage, but there's only another 7 minutes left. Then there will be highlights up on the URC YouTube channel, so I highly recommend checking out those. Now back across here, once again, Sione Tuipulotu, nice wide ball. Glasgow down the wing here. It's a good chance. Ball on the outside, but it's a great last-ditch tackle made by the Stormers. Brilliantly done. And Rassi told him to kick. I can't get to it. There's Glenn there. And like they're saying, it could have been the game. Come on, Glasgow, anyone. But the Savvy says Michael there as well. It's a beautiful pass on the outside there. And thank God. And time Amy says, Ethan, currently we are sitting 73 minutes through. So, going to be a good chance here for Glasgow. Only a few meters out from the line now. If they can get the turnover here, we've gone from almost scoring. Now they've almost scored, says not your everyday cultist. Although Michael, you wind up, says it was Ethan right there making some changes here. Important line out. Very, very important. Khan now on the field for Paul DeVette and JJ Kutsa. I have a bad feeling he's going to lose this one. No, they've got it. And now trying to get the rolling ball going, but there's a Glasgow player in between. He's been able to stop it from being freed up for the Stormers, and that's going to be a 5-meter scrum now for Glasgow. You know what? That's a match-changing moment right there. Because Glasgow, they're going to have a scrum only a few meters out from the Stormers line. Yes, sir, says Glenn. And also the Stormers is not your everyday cultures, but brilliant work. Scrum awarded to Glasgow. It's going to be an interesting little close. Pathetic, really. It's not your everyday culture. It's not ideal for the Stormers. Not what they were after. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will mention we are going to have plenty more URC It is coming up in the near future. And also, we are on the road to 21,500. We're only 12 away. In fact, when I refresh, we're actually only 7 away. So if you are new, hit that subscribe button. Let's see if we can get to that milestone of 7 more before the end of the live stream. Now, the scrum feed once again going to be Glasgow's. Hold out. Come on, boys. Hold out there. In Glasgow, says Michael with the happy faces. And the Stormers, says Glenn, going for them here. The rain is still pouring in this matchup. Hold it, big boys. Michael's team so bad he has to support other teams. It's going to be a free kick now. And I believe they will go for another scrum. If they get a penalty here, that might be an interesting factor for them, because that would mean, well, it would mean a lot for them. They could go for the free kick, 3 points on the board. I feel like there's a try or a penalty just around the corner here. The Stormers, they could win it. Maybe the scrum penalty, either going the way of the Stormers or going the way of Glasgow. That's my feeling at the moment. Someone's getting a scrum penalty, just because it seems like the kind of time when a side will make a little mistake. A new Stormers front row as well is something that we should mention. But now it's going to be put in by Ali Price. It's available at the back. What can they do with it? It's an advantage. So they've got time to use this one. They pass it out their back line, going for the cross kick. Cleaned up by the Stormers, going back now for the initial penalty. Now, this is an easy 3 if they want it. But do they? They're sitting 1 try off a bonus point here. So that could be a 5-point win rather than a 4. How much are Glasgow willing to risk here to try and get it? Take the 3, definitely, says Sebastian. We've got that come on. No, says Glenn. They've gone with the scrum again. So the Warriors, they've said that they want to try and get that extra try. Try and get the bonus point. There's a lot of trying that's going to go on. Oh, wait, forgot. They need 1 more try for the bonus point. Although, the thing is, a draw is worth a lot less in this one. So if they make that mistake of not being able to convert it, it's pretty huge for them. Like, to risk it as much as they are by going scrum here. What if they win another penalty? Do you then go scrum again, or do you go for the corner? Or what do you do? It's another penalty to the Glasgow side, right? Now, we're about to find out, and it looks like it might be a little bit of a chat, and do not score a try, says Glenn. At the moment, Glasgow sitting right on the verge. Getting over the line. And I was like, oh, come on, says no, not everyday cultist. Okay, they've said he's got no issue. Okay. Scrum called again. I'm still a bit confused at why Glasgow have not taken on the 3 points. I understand that it's for that bonus point chance, but you still need to win the game. And that's the main thing. Also, we've got that come on the Stormers. Says Glenn there. You can hear the crowd chanting Glasgow here at the stadium. They've got possession. This time they've got a good attacking opportunity. Then look to the left. Ali Price, 3 minutes left and only 5 meters between them and the try line. Higher from Wales again. How the sheep doing, says the Foxman. Yeah, they're doing not too bad. All right, we got plenty of them around, of course, and Glasgow is the worst, says Glenn. All available again is the call from the referee. Still trying to charge forward. Just checking the odds as it sits currently. With 2 minutes left, I believe the draw is definitely the most likely option. Back across with the rain pouring as well. They look to use it. They don't quite get it right, though, and they've actually been forced back quite far by the Stormers side. Still attacking. And like I was saying earlier on, at what point do you decide to just take on that 3 points? I'm sweating, says Glenn. Come on, boys. And who's the skipper of Glasgow? Hamish, I believe. Oh, I think it's Xander Fagerson, if I'm not wrong. But I could be very wrong in that statement. It might actually be someone else. No, I think it might be Fagerson. Looking through at their side, currently 22 meters out from the line. Glasgow still attacking, still trying to get over the line. Dempsey gets back up, goes again. 22 meters out from the line here. Looking to the grubber. There's going to be space. It sits up and Glasgow score in the 78.5 minute. And it's going to be Cancellieri once again who's able to go in for the try. And even Glasgow player is terrible. I think that's supposed to be every Glasgow player is terrible and Stormers hold up and come on. And also we will take the kick if we get the chance. There's roll off, but that is a try for Glasgow right at the end of this game. And Cancellieri, the second try of the day. And Glasgow going to continue possibly their winning streak. It's going to be, at this point, an 11-match home winning streak for Glasgow. And not only that, that's the bonus point win that will then put them, we're going to show the table very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. They were in 9th on 29. They now have 34 points. They're in 5th now, Glasgow, at the end of this round. The Stormers, they will get themselves a bonus point. They'll get up to 45. They didn't get their 4-try bonus point, though, that they would have been after. But what a win this will be for Glasgow, building their confidence as they make their way further and further through the URC competition. Big win, says Gareth, absolutely. And that should be the game. Only 6 seconds left. I'll say it again. They would have won without the ref. That one call where Paul didn't use it on time or whatever screwed us, says not everyday cultist. There as well. Glasgow, the kick's gone over for Domingo Miotti, and that will be the game. 24 points to 17. And that is full-time unlucky Stormers next game, lads. So the only South African side to get themselves a win, ladies and gentlemen, this round of the URC was the Bulls. Every other side, the Lions lost to Munster, the Sharks lost to Connacht, and now the Stormers have been defeated by the Glasgow Warriors. And here's how much says Gareth, and we're the worst, says Glenn. I see Harlequins have dropped to $18 underdogs. Are they trying to make their comeback again, Sebastian? Like every single week? I'm just going to look at Sky Sport now and see what the score is in that one. You should have left Super League. You're going from bad to worse, says Michael. And it was a great game. Got me to turn away from the Quins game and Sev. Always blame the ref, not the AB, says John Mills. And also nice one, Glasgow. Well done. And Glenn still got away with a bonus point, says Michael there. And we should have rested our players and taken our B team up, says not your everyday cultures. And no, we are bad. And who knows, Quins ain't giving up. It's weird. Like, they're now down to $16 underdogs. Now come back this time. I've accepted defeat. Are you sure, Sebastian? There's still time. And Glasgow play K-Rugby, says Ricardo. I mean, I have a question, but I feel like it's going to annoy you more. I was going to say, if you consider Glasgow's rugby gay, then what would you call the Stormers rugby in this game for them being defeated? Like, what would you say is the equivalent for theirs? It's appearing a men of the match, in a push to the limit. Their own home pathetic, says Ricardo. They're currently on an 11-match win streak at the moment, Glasgow. Getting pushed to their limit by the defending champions, you'd have to say probably not a bad effort, just because last year Glasgow, I don't even think they were in the top 8. And they have just beaten the side that went on to win the whole competition. 2 tries down, says Nate. And also Seffi's rubbish. And Glasgow lost by 30 on a dry pitch, though, says LD. Yeah, the rain started pouring at some point in the second half. And the amount of salt in this chat, I absolutely love it, says Sebastian. So, yeah, currently with 5 minutes left in the Harlequins Sale Sharks game, Harlequins are down by 8. They've got a kick to come. They're actually going to be within 7 if this kick goes. Oh, he's missed it from straight out in front. Okay, now I can understand why you accepted defeat. That was a shocking miss, young man. Let's look at ourselves instead of insulting a team that we just lost to, says Ethan. And there's our, the question is, what can the Stormers do better later on? And also, we have got that Ricardo's not too happy at the moment with this loss. Either Ricardo, did you have money on them, or are you just a very passionate Stormers supporter? Because it's one of the two. I was crying as usual, says Michael. And also one more try, Sebastian, says Nate. Although they needed that conversion and they weren't able to get it, unfortunately. That makes it a lot harder. Hugh Jones. First game in 2 years up against an old South African side. Cool stat. He said there, Hugh Jones, and he missed it. I was there for a losing bonus point, to be honest. Sal, we're better. See Sebastian. And also, why aren't you watching your team, Michael? And also, oh, Michael, Liverpool sitting 5 points behind. We have a game in hand, says Ricardo. And also, we have good there. We don't cry. We actually win championships. What's Glasgow done, says LB. And yeah, thanks, Amish, mate. Holy chill banter as always. There's Ethan, and one more penalty goal for the losing bonus point, says Sebastian. So yeah, that is what they'll be aiming for. But nonetheless, I do appreciate you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, sure leave a like and subscribe. We've got plenty more URC coming back in the future. It's currently almost 6 a.m. here in New Zealand. So the plan now is going to be to head to bed for about 4 hours, get up, and then go to work, build a deck. Best way of describing it. But yeah, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're 3 away from that goal of 21,500. So if you want to help us over the line, just hugely appreciated. Cheers, Amish. See you, mate. See you, Sebastian. We will see you later on. Cheers, boss. And Morena, says Nate there as well. So yeah, nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy your day/night, depending on whereabouts you are in the world. And I will see you all for the next one.